When your life partner is no longer by your side after years of companionship, life changes dramatically. The emptiness you feel isn't just the loss of someone to share your days with. It's the loss of a piece of yourself, a familiar presence in every moment. But no matter how profound the grief, it doesn't have to define the rest of your life. Moving forward from this loss is challenging, yet it's also an opportunity to rediscover yourself, to rebuild joy, and to live fully once again. In this video, we'll listen to 3 inspiring stories of individuals who have bravely walked through the sorrow of parting. You'll see that no matter your age or circumstances, there are always ways to find peace and purpose in life. Life, as we know, is a journey filled with surprises. None of us can predict how long we'll travel alongside our loved ones. As Miyazaki once said, life is like a train ride, and each person can only join you for part of the journey. When they must depart, be grateful for the moments you shared. And if someone stays with you until the end of the journey, that's even more precious. Having a life partner from youth until old age is an incredible gift, but not everyone is that fortunate. When your partner is gone, the home may feel silent, and every familiar corner brings up memories. But even in their absence, you can find peace within yourself and continue to build a meaningful life. Allow time and resilience to heal, and you'll rediscover strength and happiness in this next chapter of your life. Accepting and facing grief. Losing a spouse brings inevitable and natural pain. However, the most important step is learning to accept and face this grief, rather than trying to avoid it. Acceptance doesn't mean forgetting the loved one, but learning to live with the loss. Grief can appear in many forms, from joyful or sad memories to a feeling of emptiness when alone at home. Facing these emotions, even the most uncomfortable ones, helps you understand yourself better and deeply appreciate the value of what you had. Grief is a natural part of the healing process, but you don't have to endure it alone. Seek support from friends, family, or support groups to ease feelings of loneliness. Professional help from a counselor or therapist can also guide you through confronting grief without letting it overwhelm you. Accepting loss is the first step to continuing a fulfilling and meaningful life. Not relying too much on your children. After losing a spouse, many elderly people turn to their children for comfort and support, which is entirely natural. However, depending too heavily on them, whether emotionally or financially, can have unintended consequences. It can diminish their independence, causing them to lose the ability to manage their lives and confidence. When reliant on others, they may feel devalued, increasing feelings of loneliness and emptiness. Relying too much on children can also strain family relationships. While children love their parents, they have their own responsibilities, and taking on the added duty of caregiving can create tension. This can lead to underlying conflicts or feelings of restriction, making both sides uncomfortable. Let's explore the story of Anne, a 72-year-old widow, and her experience living with her children. After her husband passed away, she moved in with her son David and his wife, Sarah. At first, things went smoothly as Anne helped around the house, cooking meals and taking care of her 5-year-old grandson. However, small disagreements began to arise in their daily lives, and generational differences started to cause dissatisfaction. One afternoon, when David and Sarah came home from work, they found that Anne had rearranged all the kitchen appliances and cooking utensils, pots, pans, spices, and even the dining table had been moved to new locations, all in what Anne thought was a more efficient setup. Sarah, who had her own way of organizing the kitchen, was unsettled. She said, "Mom, why did you move everything in the kitchen? I'm used to the way it was." And replied, "I thought this would be more convenient for everyone when cooking. It's the way I've always done it, and it makes things easier to find." Trying to stay calm but feeling her space was being invaded, Sarah explained, "I appreciate your help, but this is my kitchen, and I've organized it the way David and I are comfortable with." David, Sensing the tension, tried to mediate. "Mom, I know you want to help, but it's important to ask us before making changes. Sarah is used to how things are, and it's important to her," and felt hurt. She had only wanted to help, but her efforts were met with resistance, making her feel out of place. She began to realize that, despite living with her children, the differences in lifestyle and perspectives were making her feel suffocated. Initially, and believed that living near her children would ease her loneliness after her husband passed away. But the reality was quite the opposite. Instead of finding joy, she felt increasingly disconnected and misunderstood. Every time a conflict arose, she felt less and less like she belonged there, and the emptiness within her grew. Eventually, she decided to return to her old home and live independently, saying, "Finally, I can live the retirement life I've always wanted." Anne's story is a powerful reminder of the importance of maintaining independence and self-reliance in old age. With increasing longevity, many people face the challenge of living alone after their spouse passes. While living with grown children may seem ideal, it often comes with unexpected difficulties. Living together can lead to conflict due to generational differences. This isn't just a cultural issue, it's a common challenge. In the US, families often face similar issues when the desire for independence clashes with the need for family support. Second, the feeling of being a burden can create mental stress and felt undervalued and even unappreciated. After years of caring for her family, this mental strain can lead to feelings of worthlessness and depression among elderly parents. Third, finding personal fulfillment is essential for a happy and healthy retirement. Ultimately, Anne found joy in her solitude, rediscovering hobbies and forming new friendships. This highlights the importance of pursuing personal interests and staying socially active, key elements for a fulfilling retirement. Many seniors in the U.S. find happiness in community centers, clubs, and volunteer work, all of which provide a sense of purpose and belonging. Don't rush into finding a new partner or remarrying. After losing a spouse, many elderly individuals may feel lonely and empty, which can lead to a desire to quickly find a new companion to fill the void. However, rushing into a new relationship or remarrying during this period can present emotional and family-related risks. First and foremost, making decisions while still grieving can result in hasty choices. Older individuals may seek immediate comfort and overlook the importance of self-healing and addressing their own emotions. Starting a new relationship while the pain of loss remains unresolved can lead to a relationship that is not sustainable and potentially filled with disappointment. Moreover, remarrying or finding a new partner can trigger unforeseen family conflicts. Children may be reluctant to accept a new person in their parents' life. They may worry about the new partner's intentions, fearing they may disrupt family finances or alter the family dynamic. Issues surrounding inheritance, finances, or lifestyle differences could arise, causing tension and discord among family members. More importantly, rushing into a new relationship might be a way to avoid loneliness rather than truly confronting one's own feelings. Instead of seeking comfort from another person, the elderly need time to heal, adjust to their new life, and rebuild their independence. Finding joy in personal activities, connecting with friends, or participating in social groups can help seniors regain balance before considering a new relationship. John, a 70-year-old widower, led a peaceful life after his wife passed away from illness. Though deeply heartbroken and lonely, he kept his spirits up for the sake of his children and grandchildren. However, after about a year, the loneliness grew stronger. One day, at a local senior community event, John met Alice, a 67-year-old widow who had recently moved to the neighborhood. Alice was charming and lively, quickly capturing John's attention. They often met at community gatherings, shared stories about their lives, and gradually, their feelings for each other blossomed. After just a few months of dating, John felt he had found happiness again and decided to remarry Alice. Despite his children's concerns about how fast the relationship was moving, his daughter had repeatedly urged him to take more time to think before making such a big decision. But John dismissed her worries and soon married Alice. After the wedding, they moved in together at John's house. Initially, their life seemed harmonious, but conflicts soon emerged. Alice had a taste for luxury and enjoyed spending money on expensive clothing and furniture, habits John wasn't used to. He preferred a simpler, more frugal lifestyle, while Alice frequently made large purchases without consulting him. Moreover, she wanted to completely change the arrangement of John's house, where he had lived with his late wife for many years. This made John feel unsettled and uncomfortable. Alice also had a strained relationship with John's children and grandchildren. Whenever they visited, Alice remained distant and cold, making John feel torn between his family and his new wife. Despite multiple attempts to explain to Alice how important his family was to him, she felt neglected and believed John wasn't on her side. The disagreements intensified when Alice suggested that John sell his old house and move into a new apartment, more in line with her lifestyle. She argued that their current home was too large and costly to maintain, and downsizing to a smaller apartment would be more economical and easier to manage. However, for John, the house was not just a place he had lived for many years, but a home filled with memories of his late wife. It was where they had built their family, raised their children, and weathered life's ups and downs together. Every corner of the house held cherished memories that he wasn't ready to leave behind. The idea of moving unsettled him, but Alice insisted that it was necessary for their new life together. John wasn't the only one feeling pressured. His children were strongly against the idea of selling the house. When they learned of the plan, John's eldest son, David, came over for a conversation. "Dad, this house is where our family grew up. It holds memories of Mom. We don't understand why you have to sell it just because of Alice. This isn't something you need to do," David said. John's youngest daughter, Sarah, also voiced her frustration, saying, "You've lived here your whole life. Why leave? This is your home, and I don't want to see you give it all up just to please her. If Alice loves you, she should respect your past, not make you abandon what's most precious to you." Faced with his children's concerns, Alice didn't hide her displeasure. She argued, "This is John's house, and he has the right to decide. Besides, it makes sense to sell this big house and move somewhere smaller. We're not young anymore, and this house just complicates things. The kids can keep their memories, but we need to move forward." After many arguments and an increasing sense of loss, John realized he had rushed into remarriage without fully thinking it through. Instead of finding companionship and comfort, he had entered a relationship filled with conflict and tension. He decided to have an honest conversation with Alice about getting a divorce, seeking to restore peace in his life. Though the divorce brought sadness, John felt relieved not to have to deal with unnecessary pressures any longer. Slowly, he regained his sense of comfort living alone, reconnected with his children and grandchildren, and realized that rushing to find new happiness had placed him in a difficult situation. Finding meaning in religion and spirituality. After losing a spouse, many elderly individuals may experience profound grief, emptiness, and difficulty in finding meaning in life again. During such times, religion and spirituality often become a valuable source of comfort and inner strength. Religion not only provides faith in life beyond death, but also helps individuals find peace within themselves, accept their loss, and reflect on the value of life. Seeking solace in religion can offer spiritual support, a place to release pain and anxiety. Participating in religious activities such as prayer, attending church services, or meditation can help seniors feel less alone and connected to something greater than themselves. This practice also allows them to reflect on life, better understand the impermanence of existence, and accept that death is a natural part of the human journey. In addition, Spiritual practices such as meditation, yoga, and mindfulness can help seniors find balance and peace. These practices not only relax the mind, but also offer physical relaxation, allowing seniors to focus on the present and let go of past sorrows. Religion and spirituality can also provide hope that the passing of a spouse is not the end, but a transition to another world, where they may one day reunite. This belief brings profound comfort, helping them overcome feelings of loss and loneliness. Many find joy in performing religious rituals, engaging in charitable activities, or simply nurturing the religious community they belong to. Finding meaning in religion and spirituality not only helps seniors recover from loss, but also offers them a meaningful way of life, allowing them to feel peaceful and fulfilled in their later years. This process is not only about healing, but also about continuing to live a life full of purpose, even though their spouse is no longer by their side. Planning for the future and creating a legacy. After the loss of a spouse, planning for the future becomes essential, not only to cope with life's changes, but also to create a meaningful legacy for the next generation. For many elderly individuals, this is a time to reflect on their lives and think about what they want to leave behind, not just in terms of material assets, but also in terms of spiritual values and life lessons. Planning for the future begins with organizing finances carefully. After losing a spouse, many seniors must manage their finances on their own, a task they may not have been familiar with before. They need to develop a reasonable spending plan, distribute assets, and clearly outline their inheritance wishes. Being financially prepared can provide them with peace of mind, alleviating concerns about becoming a burden to their children, and ensuring that their wishes are carried out after they are gone. Additionally, creating a legacy involves passing down spiritual values to the next generation. Many choose to record their memories, family stories, or life lessons they've learned along the way. This not only preserves valuable experiences, but also allows their children and grandchildren to better understand family traditions and values. Writing or sharing these stories also gives seniors a sense of contributing positively to their family and community. Some elderly individuals also opt to leave a lasting legacy by contributing to their communities through charitable acts or meaningful work. They may donate to charitable organizations, support education, or get involved in environmental causes. These contributions not only bring personal satisfaction, but also leave a positive impact on society, helping them feel their life has been valuable and significant. Robert, 75, had lived a modest but meaningful life. He had been a dedicated teacher who loved his profession and gave his all to education. After his wife passed away, he lived alone in the small house where he and his wife had spent over 40 years together. Though lonely, he didn't let grief overcome him. Instead, he focused on preparing for the future and building a legacy for the next generation. Though Robert didn't have many material possessions, he cherished the knowledge and life experiences he had accumulated over the years as a teacher, husband, and father. He had 3 grown children, but he wanted to leave them something more valuable than money. He wanted to leave behind the values he held dear. Robert decided to write a memoir, documenting his entire life. Each page was filled with memories of his childhood, his teaching career, and the ups and downs of his marriage. He wrote about how he and his wife had overcome financial hardships and how they raised their 3 children with love and discipline. These stories weren't just personal memories, but life lessons he wanted to pass down to his family. He hoped that when his children and grandchildren read his memoirs, they would understand the importance of patience, gratitude, and love in life. In addition to writing his memoirs, Robert also decided to leave a meaningful legacy for his community. With his modest pension, he established a small scholarship fund for underprivileged students at the school where he had taught. Though the amount wasn't large, he believed that helping children in need would bring real change to their lives. He believed that knowledge was the most valuable gift people could give to each other. and supporting education was the best way to create a lasting legacy. Initially, Robert's children didn't fully understand why he was so dedicated to writing his memoirs and setting up a scholarship fund. But one day, he invited them over and shared some key parts of his memoir. He recounted the joys and sorrows of his marriage, how he and his wife had overcome hardships, and the valuable life lessons he had learned along the way. His children listened with emotion and gradually realized that the legacy he wanted to leave behind was not just about material wealth, but about deep spiritual values. Planning for the future and creating a legacy not only helps the elderly feel more at ease as they approach their twilight years, but also allows them to maintain a connection with their family and community. Through small but meaningful actions, they can continue to have a positive impact on their children's lives and the world around them. A legacy doesn't have to be material. It can be spiritual values, life lessons, or tangible contributions to society. Preparing for the future in this way gives the elderly a sense of purpose and peace as they move forward in their final years. In conclusion, life after the loss of a spouse is undoubtedly a significant challenge for the elderly, requiring them to face their grief, find ways to heal, and rebuild their lives. However, with the right steps, they can rediscover joy and meaning in the journey ahead. Moving forward is not just a personal journey, but also a way to continue loving, giving, and living each moment to its fullest. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join our community. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to leave a comment below. Let's keep the conversation going. Your insights and experiences matter to us. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.